I was just betrayed by the king of Miami's nightlife, Mr. David Grutman. Do you know him? He built the world-famous Live nightclub at the Fontainebleau Hotel of James Bond's Goldfinger fame. Sundays at Live are known as hip-hop church. It's a rite of passage to perform there, where household names like Bad Bunny, Lil Wayne, Drake, Tiesto, and The Weeknd are made. David's conglomerate, Groot Hospitality, owns Miami institutions like Komodo, which he claims is the highest grossing freestanding restaurant in America, doing more than $40 million a year. It also owns Poppy Steak, where a $1,000 steak is theatrically delivered to your table in a Pulp Fiction style briefcase, complete with fireworks. I'm not making this up. Grutman has been at the center of Miami's culture for decades. Currently, Miami might be consistently regarded as the best city in the world, depending on who you talk to, and also referred to as the capital of Latin America. But there was a time when it was better known as a retiree haven and crime mecca, popularized by shows like Golden Girls and Miami Vice. Growing up, my only reference to Miami was its notoriety of having the worst public schools in the nation. That was the Miami Grutman cut his teeth on. He worked his way up from bartender in a mall to hospitality magnate. That takes some astronomical amounts of grit, courage, and vision. And that is exactly the story I thought I was buying in his new book, Take It Personal. Except there was nothing personal in it. You know that feeling when you wake up expecting leftover Chinese takeout in the refrigerator? Before your feet even touch the floor, you've already planned breakfast. You shuffle into the kitchen, pull open the fridge, and discover an empty white takeout container. Sometime during the night, some rat of a person quietly robbed you of a joy so small it hardly seems worth mentioning until it happens to you. That is exactly how I felt finishing Take It Personal. Indulge me while I present the charges against Mr. Grutman's book. The most serious counts won't be revealed till the end. The first thing that really annoyed me is in Mr. Grutman's attempt at a being cool, we don't actually see him. Designed by Johnny Ive, the man behind the iPhone, the cover of Take It Personal is little more than the title blown up in tall, by little more, I mean it's not more. It's just the title blown up in tall red condensed font with David's name in black. It feels less like the memoir of Miami's hospitality king, the man who helped bring Victoria's Secret to South Beach, and more like an annual report of a consulting firm. And then, when you don't believe it could be any more lifeless, it opens with a foreword by Miss Kim Kardashian herself. In retrospect, it was probably my mistake to assume a book with a foreword by Kim K was going to have something profound to say. Her writing is about as beige as her nude-colored shapewear. Yet, she accidentally manages to write the truest line in the book. When David Grutman speaks, you want to listen. He is the Eckhart Tolle of nightclubs. If you spend just 10 seconds listening to the guy speak in an interview, you're sucked in. He is layered and entertaining like one of his Komodo cocktails. Intense, charming, focused, and most certainly weird. He speaks with a confident bravado about the importance of moving in congruence to one's higher purpose. He eschews networking in favor of long-term friendships. He details how he failed in business because his morals weren't aligned with his ambition. Like Jesus, he encourages doing unto others as they would have done unto yourself, as you would have done unto yourself. In falling down a David Grutman rabbit hole, I quickly became almost as obsessed with his social circle as the man himself. Mr. Grutman sits at the center orbit of Miami influencers. Most of them are foreign ex-models turned entrepreneurs who married young and promptly entered motherhood. I've never been so jealous. The whole thing is oddly wholesome if you ignore the woman's perpetual look of hunger and instead focus on how impeccably they dress. They have enormous mansions, get weekly lymphatic massages, They have huge friend groups, spend the weekends on yachts, and have perfectly branded motherhood. David's wife literally sells a ring that spells mom in diamonds on it. Like a moth to a flame, I cannot look away, intoxicated by my own covetousness. While all roads in the 305 may lead to Mr. Grutman, we can't find any trace of that magnetic man in Take It Personal. Preaching about the importance of creating a feeling in his spaces, David never shows us how he creates one, beyond the advice to change the light bulbs in your restaurants. Seriously, that's his biggest piece of advice. Whenever he gets close to something genuinely interesting, like getting expelled from boarding school by throwing a firecracker down a toilet, he immediately starts a new chapter. In his book, we never learn what first drew him to hospitality. He never explains how he stayed sober for more than a decade while building a nightlife empire fueled by alcohol. Wouldn't that be an incredible story? He never allows us to watch him become Mr. David Grutman. Instead, we get the resume. For someone who preaches the importance of creating feelings in his restaurants, he never bothers to create any for the readers of this book. Well, here's my advice, Mr. Grutman. Rewrite this book. Show us your life while you tell us your career the way Andre Agassi did in Open. Because when you spend 208 pages protecting your story instead of sharing it, there's no reason for the readers to care. This book grew out of a course Mr. Grutman taught at Florida International University for hospitality students. To be honest, it reads like an insult to their intelligence. I'd rather be watching his Architectural Digest house tour. David gets about as deep as the puddle in his Raymond Jungle designed front yard. Which brings us to the end. The end of this book and the end of this rant. After spending a few chapters bragging about his past to angel investor status, he leaves us with a passage about learning to treat women well because he has 2 daughters. Are you serious? This book clearly intends to do too much and sadly does too little. And then comes the greatest insult of all, the audiobook. It's narrated by Landon Watson, a young black man. This is not a criticism of Mr. Watson. He does a perfectly fine job. But David Grutman is a showman. He's a 50-year-old Jewish man from Miami, well, originally from Naples, but now Miami, whose presence has been shaped by hundreds of late nights at Live. Every sentence sounds like it belongs to someone, or every sentence that comes out of his mouth sounds like it belongs to someone who's seen a little more of life than the rest of us. If the book is called Take It Personal, why am I listening to someone else tell David Grutman's story? I want my Audible credit back. Ultimately, the book isn't disappointing because David Grutman isn't interesting. It's disappointing because he is.